What's up, guys? This is a replay. This is Replay Ready Sports. I'm back at it again. This is I have the topic I want to talk about today is the Bengals versus the Cleveland Browns. Now, I know I predicted that the Cleveland Browns was going to lose this game to the Bengals, but that wasn't the case here. So I'm not going to sit here and hate. You know, they won. So yeah, I kind of down talked the Browns a little bit, but just based off of how they played against Baltimore, I didn't think they would have it together going against the Bengals. But other than that, shout out to the Browns. But I have, some stats I wanted to go over. I wanted to talk about both teams. Now, as far as with the Browns stats, Baker Mayfield played a very productive game. He threw one interception, but I'm gonna just break it all the way down for you. He threw 23 passes and completed 16 of them. He also threw for 219 yards for 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. So he has 1 turnover. Then I'm going to discuss the Browns' running game. The running game was what made the deciding factor of who was going to win the game. Nick Chubb had 22 carries for 124 yards, 2 touchdowns. He averaged like 5.6 yards per carry. Kareem Hunt, 10 carries, 86 yards, 1 touchdown. He averaged 8.6 yards per carry. And then Odell Beckham, when I talk about the receiving end, he caught 4 passes for 74 yards, 1 touchdown. And he was targeted 6 times, so he caught 4 passes out of 6 that were thrown to him. And then Jarvis Landry, 3 receptions, 46 yards, 0 touchdowns. He was targeted 3 times, so he caught all the passes that was coming to him. Now the Browns defense did play outstanding football as far as recording 3 sacks and 6 tackles for a loss. No touchdowns from what I've seen. But one thing that I would like to talk about with the Browns is that if they keep playing the way they're playing, they will be a dangerous team and probably would make a playoff run if they can. Because the Browns have weapons. It's just that they fail to execute on the other games that they play. Like when they played against the Ravens, it was kind of, I would have thought that, it would have been a good matchup knowing they're all fresh coming back in, but I know the preseason really has something to do with everybody's, style of play last week. But compared to this yesterday going in against the Bengals, they did a solid performance. They cleaned up a lot of their mistakes from last week. So shout out to the Browns. And I'm looking forward to seeing them play a lot of games the way they play against the Bengals. Now, I want to talk about the Bengals recap. Joe Burrow, for him to be playing that quarterback position as a rookie, but coming out there throwing the ball like he's been doing this, that is impressive. Like, he did not show no signs of messing up, or like he just was out there like he been in the NFL. And that's good that's great confidence that the Bengals fans want, knowing that the Bengals been in a drought for a long time at the quarterback. A little bit at the quarterback position, because it was times when Andy Dalton did have good years, but for them to have a quarterback that wants to win and wants to lead, and he shows the confidence and his style of play, how he played the Browns, that's pretty good. Excuse me. Now I want to go over the stats. Joe Burrow threw 61 passes, completed 37. He threw for 316 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interception. Now for him to be a rookie, he didn't throw an interception, but Baker Mayfield did. I'm not, holding that against Baker Mayfield, but I like the fact that Joe Burrow was able to make good decisions and not, throw the ball to where it's close for an interception or anything like that. Now, Joe Mixon, I feel like the Browns shut down the run game, and I feel like that's what was the deciding factor who was going to win this game. And yeah, Joe Mixon, 16 carries for 46 yards, 0 touchdown. He only averaged 2.9 yards a carry. And then, yeah, I mean, he's the only running back that was carrying the ball. But shout out to the Browns defense for, shutting down the run. Because basically what the Browns did was just force Joe Burrow to pass the ball. But I like how Joe Burrow took that and said, if you're going to force me to pass it by shutting down my run game, okay, I'll throw it. Like, he threw for 316 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's impressive for a rookie starting in his second game. Now his receiver, Tyler Boyd, he caught 7 passes, 72 yards, 1 touchdown, and he was targeted 8 times, so he completed 7 out of 8. That's pretty good. And then Drew Sample, 7 receptions, 45 yards, 0 touchdown, 9 targets. That was pretty good as well. And then CJ Uzomah, 4 receptions, 42 yards, 1 touchdown, 6 targets. Mike Thomas, 4 receptions, 31 yards, 1 touchdown, and 4 targets. And so he caught every pass that was thrown to him. Then the story of the day at the wide receiver position with the Bengals was A.J. Green. He was targeted 13 times and only caught 3 passes for 29 yards. Now, A.J. Green, we all know he's an elite wide receiver. He made his mark with the Bengals a while ago. But for him to put up those stats, A.J. Green need to step it up. Now, I did also see on the report that CJ Uzomah is injured. He tore his Achilles, so he's out for the season. So they're down a tight end. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Joe Burrow's going to do with knowing that the tight end is gone and what adjustments they can make, because I feel like their tight end was pretty good how the way he approached this game, and he was going to be a threat going down through the season. Now, another thing that was the deciding factor of this game was the Bengals defense. The Bengals defense didn't have no sacks. They only had 1 tackle for a loss, but they did get an interception off of Baker Mayfield. But the Bengals defense was just getting tore up by the run game, and the Bengals could not stop the run that the Browns was bringing to them with, sending Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. That's a great 1-2 punch right there. If I'm not mistaken, they averaged over 200 yards. Yeah, they averaged over about 200 yards together. With what was it? How many touchdowns? With 3 touchdowns. Yeah, the running game for the Browns decided the game, and it shut down. And it just kind of knocked the Bengals defense off balance, and then the Browns defense shut down the Bengals run game and forced Joe Burrow to pass. So the improvement, the things that I see that the Bengals need to fix is that they have to protect the quarterback a little better, because like I said before, the Browns sacked Joe Burrow 3 times. You have to protect the quarterback. I mean, he's already showing that he can go out there and throw the ball and put it in the right hands to make a play. And you got to be able to block for the running back. Get the run game going so Joe Burrow don't get as much pressure. You can set him up on the play actions and make a good play too as well. The Bengals, like I said, they need work on their offensive line. Their defense has to put more pressure on the quarterback, and they need to establish the run offensively. So, that's all I have to say about the NFL. I'm about to pop up with the topic about NBA next. Now, the Celtics versus the Heat. I seen the game. I had chose the Celtics to win. I didn't create I didn't say anything about it on the podcast, I think. But matter of fact, I think I did. I'm not sure. I can't remember right now. But the Heat came out and won again. which was pretty good. And my opinion on this is that I feel like Dragic is the reason why the Heat is winning this game. Cause I seen that Dragic was not getting stopped at all, like this guy was unstoppable. I mean, shout out to the rest of his teammates, but Dragic was actually balling out. He had more points than all of his teammates on the team, and he had more points than everybody on the Heat and everybody on the Celtics by itself. So that's he's balling out. Now I wanted to go over the final stats for the game. The Heat rebounded the ball 38 times. Their offensive rebound was 11. Their defensive rebound was 27. They had 27 assists, 11 steals, and 2 blocks, and 9 turnovers. Now with the Celtics, they rebounded the ball 41 times, 6 offensive rebound, 35 defensive, 19 assists, 5 steals, 3 blocks, 20 turnovers. The turnovers is what killed the Celtics. Now I see it's 20 versus the Heat's 9. And then when I look at it, the Celtics rebounded on defense. They rebounded the ball 35 times. The Heat did it 27 times. But your defensive rebounds are going to obviously be more than the offensive rebounds. But let's talk about offensive rebounds. Like the offensive rebounds from the Heat was 11. The Celtics only had 6 offensive rebounds. That plays a big factor in the game. Now, when we talk about, percentage-wise, from them shooting and scoring, the Heat as a whole, their field goal percentage, they had 40 out of 90, and the percentage of that was 44.4%. Then their three-point percentage, it was they had 14 out of 43, they had 32.6%. Then their free throw percentage was 12 out of 14, that was at 85.7%. So they did make most of their free throws at the line. Now with the Celtics, they had from their field goal percentage, they had 36 out of 72, so it was 50%, which was good. 3-point percentage, it was 10 out of 28, so it was 35.7%, which you're gonna either this is a hit or miss. And then with the free throws, it was 19 out of 24, it had 79.2%. So they both did pretty good on the free throws, real good on the free throws. But down the line, the Celtics, did their thing. They had higher percentage than the Heat, but they still lost. The breakdowns that I want to talk about is that in the first quarter, it was neck and neck in the first quarter. It was 28-31. Then I seen where the Celtics started to pick up the pace and wanted to actually start, focusing on scoring and locking them down on defense. They did pretty well in the second quarter. But it just seemed like just from the first game, they was doing pretty good in the first quarter. And then the second quarter was all right, but then they just stopped around the third quarter, because in the third quarter of this game 2, the Heat outscored them 37-17. They almost doubled the points that the Celtics made the whole third quarter. And then, the Heat scored 22 in the fourth, and the Celtics scored 24, but the Heat still came out on top because they almost doubled what the Celtics had in the third quarter. That's impressive. The Heat keep playing like that, I'm not saying it's gonna be a sweep, but if they continue to play like this, we don't know where it could go, but I know the Heat will probably win the series if they continue to play like that. But the only thing I don't like about the Heat right now is that they have to get that momentum going early, because if the Celtics, realize hey, we need to keep the same mentality of the whole game, there's gonna be a problem with the Heat. The Celtics gonna probably come back, so the Heat have to have that killer momentum from start to finish, so they won't, they wouldn't have to. I mean, I'm not gonna say fight as hard, but let's keep the energy, because, like I said, if they keep coming out playing like that in the first 2 quarters, and the Celtics play like that all 4 quarters, the Celtics are gonna obviously win. So yeah, like, that's all I have. But from the breakdown, Dragic had the most points in the game. Like I said, that was impressive. He had more points than the rest of the starters and in all of the Celtics starters. So shout out to Dragic. Shout out to the Heat, Miami Heat. Y'all be ready for Game 3. Be ready for Game 3. This is Replay Ready Sports. I'll catch y'all next time.